Good morning, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I would like to thank the TESOL organizers and my colleague speakers in this event. Today, inshallah, we will be talking about teaching English through digital teaching platforms, that's DTPs. Madrasati as an example, it's the one platform that we use to as a means of communication between teachers and students in Saudi Arabia. Of course, maybe one of you will ask that why are we talking about this, since digital teaching platforms may not be continued, or distance learning may not be continued in next year. Let me allow me to tell you that the schools, even when they return back to normal in the future, inshallah, online learning will continue as an option to a certain extent that will be later on announced. Now, the mass closure of schools and universities due to COVID-19 pandemic has encouraged many education systems all over the world to provide or seek alternative solutions for schooling. And of course, use all possible measures to ensure the continuity of education in times of crisis. The Ministry of Education in Saudi Arabia, as many other countries, has rushed to face the outbreak of the pandemic since February. And of course, developed contingency plans, awareness campaigns to immediately shift to distance learning to 6 million students in public education. Of course, in its pursuit to leave no one behind, the students from low-income families, what some might call as marginalized children, or students with learning disabilities were also included in these solutions. The immediate solution was the establishment of the broadcasting school for recording lessons. The broadcasting schools, actually, we have 790 lessons per week that were recorded for all classes, starting from first grade to 12th grade. These lessons were broadcasted through 23 satellite TV channels, 3 of which were dedicated to special education students with special needs. Furthermore, they were simultaneously broadcasted through AIN official channels. Memos of understandings also were signed with telecommunication companies to provide signal transmitting the trucks in remote places that were away from the internet coverage. Also, virtual kindergarten application was launched to introduce educational games to students at KG. However, the most important distance learning solution provided to students was a digital teaching platform that was called Madrasati, in association with Microsoft Teams to conduct virtual lessons. Madrasati platforms has many features, and this is the website that pops up when you are searching for Madrasati platform. In association with Microsoft Teams, it helps teacher to conduct virtual lessons. It has many features which allows the school to set the schedule, make announcements of activities outside the classroom, and at the same time allow the teacher to assign homework to students with immediate feedback and use enrichment resources through AIN channels. Both students and teachers actually were faced or forced to develop and reinforce their technological skills to deal with the new situations, especially teachers. They had to deal with technology implementation dilemma. Some of them did not use technology, although most of our teachers are very good at teaching through or using educational games. But teaching via this new platform was a bit difficult, especially at the beginning of early distance learning. How to set her own classes in the schedule, how to take the absentees, how to manage a class in order to focus on the lesson, how to keep parents from not answering instead of their children, sometimes when the teacher poses a question. In the past, within normal classroom circumstances, teachers mainly focused on their content and their pedagogical knowledge to deliver the lessons. But right now, a new dimension was added, namely the technological knowledge. Now, these are some of the features and the platform tools that the teachers had to deal with. Actually, the features here can show you that how teachers can set the test or make announcements or discussion boards that can be done. All of these features presented to you are inside the same platform that the teacher can manage in each one. And they were supervised and helped by their supervisors. These are some of the heroes that were faced with the technological dilemma of dealing with, some of them far away areas to reach the internet coverage. Some of them had to set, in certain places that need, quietness and in order to focus on the lesson and to get equipped. And this is what the new dimension that was added to the teacher's knowledge, which is the technological domain. This reminded us of the TPAC framework, which was developed by Mishra and Collar in 2008. It consisted of a combination of 3 types of knowledge for effective teaching. That's the technological knowledge, pedagogical knowledge, and content knowledge. Now it was the real application of this knowledge happened in our situation when we dealt with distance learning. Similarly, language teaching through digital teaching platforms requires skills that need to be addressed. I will discuss some of the things or skills that are needed to create a unique language experience to engage students through the Madrasati platform. Now, first, similar to any language lesson, we always suggest that the teachers minimize their talk, not to focus on teacher-student interaction, but to maximize the student talk or student-teacher interaction. This could be done through displaying the lesson page on the screen and asking the students to talk about the pictures, read the titles, encourage students to answer the discussion questions at the beginning of the module. They can also allow students to request control and display photos or pictures of the new vocabulary that are to be introduced. And even when reviewing previously learned lessons, they can share a certain picture that represents some of the past vocabulary learned. Second, we recommend that teachers increase student-to-student interaction, not only student-to-teacher, but also student-to-student interaction. That can be done when teaching dialogue. There are dialogue parts in the module or in the lesson. After the teacher provides a model reading of the lesson, she can pin 2 students on the screen at the same time. So one can ask and one can answer, or another classmate can, of course, read the dialogue at first or answer automatically. Furthermore, to increase the group discussions and talks, similar to any class, the teacher can figure out the most fluent students. She can divide the class into rooms, the breakout rooms that my colleague has just talked about, Dr. Lubna. You can divide the class into rooms, the breakout rooms, and assign the most fluent students to lead the interaction in the groups and play the mini teacher role. This is one of the videos that can show you how to break out rooms in the Madrasati platform. Anyone can look up this video. I did not prepare it. It's in the YouTube channel. One of the most wonderful teachers has prepared it, actually. It shows you that the teacher, once she goes to this icon, she can break up you can break the class into rooms. Now you can choose 6 rooms maximum. I would advise rather 4, and then add or assign people to these rooms with one of the most fluent students that you have to be like a mini teacher or to monitor the school. Of course, the teacher can go also and monitor. Now look, when you assign, this will activate. Of course, the language of the platform is the Arabic. So that the official language used in Saudi Arabia. That's why the video uses Arabic buttons. The teacher can also add 1 room or close 1 room if she wants. And she can also monitor each room, and this is how to monitor each room. Now each room has certain number of students, now 6 in each, and the teacher goes and she can also rename the room in order to know the group and give them feedback later on. And this is how you assign one room with specified students. Now, when the teacher specifies the number of students in each room, they can be engaged to answer one question, different from the others, like cooperative learning. And then they will go back to the class, to the main class, after the breakout rooms are done. After they finish, the teacher can collect them all back into the same class and then give them the feedback, or each group can represent the answer that they have got. Let's move to the third one. The third technique or skill that has to be addressed when teaching through digital teaching platforms is to concentrate on reading lessons, to engage students through skimming, scanning the passages for information. Lots of the teachers usually do the talking, while students maybe sometimes wait and not participate. But however, you can ask the students to rephrase or say the paragraph in their own words, or at least to skim for certain information. They can also circle every sentence that has a cause and effect. They can underline topic sentences. They can highlight facts with one color and opinions with another, cause with one color and effect with another. These are the skills. They might seem very minor to people who have, advanced level of English language. But what I'm talking about is the students from third grade, fourth grade, to 12th grade who study English. So some of these skills or some of these topics might seem very minor to others, but they are very important to our students to master, especially through online learning. The fourth things that the teacher has to take care about is writing. Please give the students the chance to write. Ask questions and let students to answer them on a sheet of paper immediately and upload the answer in the chat. For instance, you can ask them to write example sentences to a grammar that they have studied, or underline sentences in the passages that shown in their books, and then take a picture and upload the picture for you to check. Write example sentences to grammar, underline sentences in dialogues, or write messages. In the chatting, they can immediately write even an example that comes up to their mind. So the teacher will read the chat while after, or specifies 2 minutes to read the chat that of the examples that the students have shown. Fifth, the students' skills will be honed or developed through genuine interest and effective feedback. Of course, in language learning, we know that there are 5 types of corrective feedback. They are explicit correction, cast, clarification request, and metalinguistic clues, elicitation, repetition. Of course, sometimes in normal conditions, teachers use recast without directly indicating the students' utterances were incorrect, in order to save learners the embarrassment of maybe reformulating their own responses again in front of their classmates. But in distance learning, we rather tend to stress the importance of explicit correction, because they are behind the screen, so they are saved the embarrassment. This can be done by the teacher herself, by asking another student to correct another student. Also, you can ask a question for homework and let the students upload the answer in an MP3 format. If they do this, if they upload the answer in the next class, the teacher plays the best answers and announce the names of the students without a standing performance in order to motivate them. She can say that I got this wonderful answer from so-and-so, and please let's hear it together. At the same, she can play some of the wrong audios to let the students find the mistakes and correct them. But here it is of utmost importance not to announce the names of the students who made the mistakes in order to avoid embarrassing them. The sixth skill that I would like to stress is the effective feedback to be given to students relevant to the corrective feedback. Effective feedback, or in language learning, we usually give questions to students, but it is of utmost importance to relate the questions in your exams to a certain skill. So the students will find out what skill they have failed to master. it is their own right to know where did I fail or I did not show progress. In language learning, of course, in general, benchmarks for students' performance are set in a framework that is called Common European Framework of Reference, CFR. In Saudi Arabia, specifically in 2010, the Ministry of Education, along with well-known publishers worldwide, such as McGraw-Hill, Pearson, Oxford, EF, National Geographic, they have distributed these benchmarks of this CFR to learning outcomes needed in each grade level and referred to it as the Saudi English Language Framework, called SELF. Since then, all English language books taught in the public schools in Saudi Arabia have to contain these skills. This framework has been sent to all supervisors and can help many teachers focus on the most prominent skills to be addressed to students. They contain the skills that each student have to pass in each grade level, especially now when every teacher wants to determine the learning loss that happened during distance learning, when coming back to school. You need to know the skills, whether in each strand, whether listening, speaking, reading, or writing. Not only that, but imagine yourself a student who got 6 out of 10 score in an exam with nothing written. Imagine yourself a student who got 6 out of 10 score in an exam with nothing written on the sheet other than the mark. You will probably repeat the same mistake over and over again in the future. But now the teacher can relate the questions in their exams or skills or sub-skills to the self. They can easily refer the students to the skill that need to be addressed. Now I will show you part of this self. This is what all English language supervisors have taken. So you can see the principles underlying the curriculum, the aims of the curriculum, curricular goal, levels of language proficiency, methodology, and cultural issues. Everything is mentioned in here, and how to assess even students. Of course, that from grade 4 to grade 12, and how it is distributed. Now look, for example, elementary school curricular objectives or topics for grade 4, 5, and 6, and how these grades here have to have topics, certain topics that cover certain amount of vocabulary, phonics, functions and language exponents, and the grammar syllabus. Now, all of this self, and this is for each cycle, primary, intermediate, and even high school. Okay, this was given to supervisors in order to give all teachers and show the importance of it. The teacher can relate the questions in their exams to these skills here in order to know exactly what a student or which specific skill the student need to address. Of course, last but not the least is to engage, cooperate, and collaborate. Let students use the features they like in the digital teaching platform. In Madrasati, there are certain icons that the students like to use, such as clapping to each other, giving hearts, writing an encouraging word to your colleague in the chat, give your colleague thumbs up, correct and your colleague's answer, challenge each other. It is important to engage your students and give them the chance to cooperate and collaborate. Let them search for answers as part of the 21st century skills. You can ask students to cooperate, for example, to prepare a 5 minutes presentation for your next class. You can engage a student's interest by asking them to search for an answer for your next lesson. For example, what nations can you say that they are primitive and why? The student, in order to answer this question, they will have to look up the word primitive first, and then they will look up or search for the primitive nations and why. So it's higher order thinking to evaluate and to classify nations. Not only learning the language, but also an interesting question that piques or ignites the students' interest. And give them the option to work in pairs and contact each other, even outside the classroom, to prepare your answer. All of these mentioned tips will provide the students with a better English language learning experience when studying through digital platforms. And I hope that I gave you the major skills that teachers need to address in this brief. Thank you very much for listening to me. Thank you. And I would like to thank my colleague speakers and everyone for this opportunity. Thank you.